We come forth not to get you to believe anything. We see great diversity in that which you believe. And in all of that, there is perfect balance. And so we come forth not to alter your beliefs, but to reacquaint you with the eternal laws of the universe. And we are here to express all of that to you in detail.
Well, I don't know what you want to call it, massacre on the island of Haiti, in which 24 people confirmed dead after more than 300 heavily armed UN troops carried out a major pre-dawn military raid in Cité Soleil. So what happened was the UN troops, which is supposed to be a peacekeeping force, not something that goes out and actually, you know, does stakeout operations on drugs barons.
Yeah.
They did this pre-dawn military raid in which they killed 24 innocent people, right? And there's a lot of people looking into this. But what is symbolic is the place where it was. It was in Cité Soleil, which is Sun City, right?
Yeah.
Gets even weirder. It's one of the poorest communities in Haiti. It's one of the poorest communities in the Northern Hemisphere. It's got endemic AIDS, you know, poverty, everything. People are starving in this place because of the way that it's, you know, essentially it's been crippled by the power structure.
Yeah.
But basically, it's one of the poorest communities, as I've said, and it's in a place called Port-au-Prince. So it's Prince, Port, Sun City. On the same day the Olympic bid was won.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that symbolically you've got Prince and Sun, and then you've got this thing that I've connected with Prince William. Was this another thing equally like buying into an event with such a negative, horrible event in which the UN massacred loads of people, or 24 people? Its symbolism is right through it, and it gets even worse because basically the UN Colonel Marino suggested that ballistic tests can be done on the dead, and he said records from the Medicine Without Borders shows an influx of civilian casualties starting at 11 a.m. The numbers are on the Wikipedia page, so 11 a.m. brought in. And then you look into Port-au-Prince itself. Port-au-Prince celebrated its independence 200 years ago. I don't know what it celebrated its independence from, because it didn't seem to get any better. But the bicentennial monument that they erected in the independence of Port-au-Prince just so happens to be a pyramid without a capstone and an Olympic flame at the top.
Oh, nice.
Right. So I don't know what that's saying, but you've got Sun City with a prince and you've got a pyramid with an Olympic flame on the same day the Olympics 2012 bid was won.
My God.
That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. You know, it just doesn't happen. Too much in there.
This is an urgent message to people of European descent. Due to mass immigration into white nations and within 5 generations, whites will make up only 0.9% of the world's population, thus facing extinction. The ever-decreasing white population in America will be forced northwards and will soon dwindle to a minority. Europe is an ancestral continent of all whites. As these white nations begin to have mass immigration, Muslim and otherwise, Europeans are being compelled out of their continent of origin. Recent statistics show that Sweden will be a majority non-white country in 2050, and fellow Scandinavian countries will follow and are following this same path.
We have 1,000 pupils in a Swedish school.
Yeah.
How many are Swedes?
2.
In 2015, 65% of all babies born in Germany will be of Arabic descent. All white nations have massive third world immigration, and due to this, the quality of life is on the decline. Well, maybe you don't care right now, but what will life be like for those whites who are now becoming a minority? Let's look at a nation where whites are presently a minority for an answer.
Catastrophically falling birth rates.
well below the replacement level.
It's entirely possible that the French will disappear. There will be no native-born French that come from the traditional French population.
What some call the demographic winter of Western societies.
For those of us who were raised to believe in the teachings of Thomas Malthus or Charles Darwin, for example, these trends are very hard to absorb.
The demographic winter is an old argument, basically that European white Christian West is not having enough babies to replace its old and it's dying. And that's kind of an old argument, but it's being repurposed now by an international coalition of the religious right, hoping to restore something they call the natural family, which is the patriarchal family, the family where the mother stays at home and raises a large family of children. They're promoting it through a lot of different ways. They're promoting it through a new documentary that was released this week called Demographic Winter, The Decline of the Human Family.
The only way you can sort of preserve the theory is to say, well, certain kinds of human beings are on the way to extinction.
Now we have 40 years of social science that makes it absolutely clear that the deterioration of marriage, the encouragement of sexuality outside of marriage is just not, it's not good for society, women, children, or men.
I think their real agenda, more than necessarily a concern for Europe, is a concern with gaining an entry for their ideology into European politics. Right now they're really tapping into a lot of anxiety that Europeans are feeling about different cultural conflicts that are occurring because of different immigrant populations. Two examples really spring to mind, Italy and Russia, which have both promoted these different birth initiatives with prizes ranging from refrigerators and free cars if you conceive a patriot for the country, to actual payouts ranging from $1,000 to almost $10,000. Yes, there are demographic shifts. Yes, women did decide in the past several decades to stop having as many children. They made a decision to control their fertility when contraceptives became more available. But the only reason to call that a crisis or a demographic winter is if you're overly focused on which babies are being born and whether they're the right religion and race.
It seems like this entire thing has been a matter of disinformation.
Eric Nashlin understands the military. He spent 15 years in the service as a radio engineer. He knows deception.
It came to our attention that there was a document, a technical memorandum, I think it was 195 or something like that. And reading right in the front of it, they said that, bottom line, although this is here, it does not constitute publication.
It doesn't exist.
It basically doesn't exist. So it was kind of like, wow, here's the document that doesn't exist. We're talking several hundred pages of document that, doesn't exist on a project that is completely unclassified and open to the public.
We got it through friendly folks in the right spots. But it really lays out, these are notes from a conference that really break down where they were going to use this technology and how this technology was going to be applied.
Remember the 100 billion watts debate? Well, for Nick Begich, this document was pay dirt.
And in the document that we uncovered, the actual desired level of these researchers is 100 billion watts. And there we're talking something closer to the order of what Bernard Eastlund envisioned.
You must be familiar with Technical Memorandum 195, which talks about a desired level of 100 billion watts.
Which memorandum?
Technical Memorandum 195.
I'm not familiar with that number.
Well, it's about 600 pages. And I mean, you may not acknowledge it because it hasn't been published, but it exists. I've seen it.
I don't know what Technical Memorandum 195 is, because I haven't seen it.
This is a published document. It's non-released. And it's the word games that John Heckscher plays and the word games the United States military plays. And it's the word games they continue to play, and those are the things that need to end.
Zap incoming missiles, disrupt global communications, and engineer the weather. And ready? There's one more. Some people believe the technology being tested here could be used for sinister projects involving humans. Radio waves messing around with people's brain waves. And guess what? The military denies this one, too.
The human mind is subject to being affected by radio frequency energy, and That's what this device is.
In other words, you can move the moods of large populations.